What is up, everyone? Welcome back to the Mock Draft Guy YouTube channel. It is Wednesday. You already know what time it is. It is time for my updated 2024 NFL Mock Draft after week 4 of the 2024 NFL season. Now, I don't know if it's just because my season was devastated 4 snaps in, but I feel like the season so far has been going a little bit slower than they usually go. I feel like these weeks fly by, but this is a great opportunity to really fill you guys in on all these different prospects. If you guys tuned in last week to the week 3 mock, I'll just let you guys know before I even say anything. This week 4 mock is a little bit wild, a little bit crazy. I got very creative with it. It is vastly different than the week 3 NFL mock draft. But before we get into it real quick, if you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, please do if you enjoy videos like this and a lot of videos like it as well. I do player profiles 1 to 2 times every week as the NFL draft approaches, or once the off season comes around, I usually bump that up. I try and do about 3 a week, something along those lines. All these kind of things, these rankings for top 10 rankings for different positions for the NFL draft, all great draft content. So if you guys enjoy videos like this, videos like that, please leave a like and please subscribe to the channel. I'm trying to hit 10,000 subscribers before the 2024 NFL draft. And with your help, I think it's very, very possible. Now, without further delay, enough yapping out of me. It's time to get into it. Number 1 and number 2, Chicago has the advantage, I guess I would say, or the silver lining in being 0-4 and holding the 1st and 2nd overall pick as of right now, because it just so happens that the Carolina Panthers are 0-4 as well. So I'm not really going to make too much out of this. It's going to be Caleb Williams. It's going to be Marvin Harrison Jr. The only thing that I was thinking was the only caveat or the only outlier to the number 2 overall pick. Maybe it wouldn't be Marvin Harrison Jr., which would be crazy, by the way. The concept of having Caleb Williams and Marvin Harrison Jr. on the same team, growing together, going through everything together, rookie seasons together, it's too good to pass up. But I was also thinking Olu Fashanu could also be in play here, but the easy, obvious pick is Marvin Harrison Jr. Moving on to number 3, you have the Las Vegas Raiders. Now, when I did my own draft order after week 1 of the NFL season, I got torched in the comment section and torched on Twitter or X, whatever you want to call it, saying, oh, the Raiders aren't going to be this bad. The Raiders are nothing short of a disaster. Josh Jacobs looks like he doesn't want to be there anymore after his recent comments. Devontae Adams is saying that he's running out of time to win. It looks like they're going to be sellers at the trade deadline if I had to guess. So I think they're going to have to start from the ground up again, especially in a brutal division, a brutal conference that they play in. They could easily find themselves at the end of the year at number 3 overall. So if you're here at number 3 overall and you got Jimmy Garoppolo and Aiden O'Connell as your 2 quarterbacks on your roster, I'm sorry. I'm going to take Drake May at number 3 overall. Start fresh. Start with the best deep ball thrower in the entire draft class. He has he had like a 94.5 or 95 rating, something like that, throwing the ball deep downfield last year. It's up there again this year. He is incredible. 6'5", 225 pounds, is a great frame, great athleticism as well. He is exactly what you're looking for as a franchise quarterback. And if it wasn't for Caleb Williams, he'd easily be the number 1 overall pick for me. So Drake May is the pick at number 3. Denver is interesting. I don't think Denver's going with a quarterback. Olu Fashanu is in play. Joe Alt is in play. I think they're going to go a little bit of a different route here. Their secondary has been absolutely decimated so far throughout 4 weeks of the season. They let Justin Fields, and this is not a knock on Justin Fields, but it kind of is. They let him throw for 335 yards and 4 touchdowns, easily his best throwing performance of his career, a week after giving up 70 points to the Miami Dolphins. The secondary and the defensive coordinator are the issues here. I am going to pair Patrick Surtain with another Alabama Crimson Tide alumni here with Kool-Aid McKinstry. I think that they desperately need a second cornerback on that roster. They need a lot. They need a complete defensive overhaul, if you ask me. I think everyone is expendable besides for Justin Simmons and Kool-Aid McKinstry. Yes, Kool-Aid McKinstry, if he was getting drafted there, Pat Surtain, maybe Caden Stearns as well, are like the only 3 or 4 guys that would be indispensable, but they need a complete overhaul, and it starts here. That would be a really, really nice pairing going forward, the 2 Alabama alums. At number 5, you have Minnesota. Now, this is where my draft, I guess, starts to go a little bit haywire here. I'm sorry. I know the injury history is bad. I'm also doing no trades in this one, if you guys couldn't tell. I'm taking Michael Penix Jr. at number 5 overall here. I've seen some mocks that has JJ McCarthy going to number 5 at Minnesota. We will get into him very, very shortly. I'm just letting you know that now. But Michael Penix Jr., for me, this is an interesting quarterback class in that there's so much talent, but there's a clear-cut 1, there's a clear-cut 2, and then there's kind of everyone else where you don't really know how these guys are going to be throughout the entire season. We know everyone's really, really talented. We just don't know who has separated themselves from the rest. For me, I think my clear-cut quarterback 3 in this class right now is Michael Penix Jr. I think he is fantastic. I think if you plug him into the Minnesota Vikings offensive system with those weapons that they have, I think he is an early candidate for Offensive Rookie of the Year. I'm going to go that crazy into it. I think he steps in, and it's almost a seamless transition from Kirk Cousins to Michael Penix Jr. Not a knock on Kirk. I think he's a top 8 quarterback in the NFL, but I think Penix Jr. just comes in, he slings it. We don't even know the true potential of his arm strength, by the way, because the lower half mechanics are just so bad and his throwing motion is so weird. If he can get all that right, I think he's going to be a game-changing quarterback at the NFL level. Penix Jr. is the pick for me at number 5. At number 6, my New York Jets. Have the mighty have fallen after week 1. We were picking at 27, and then 3 short weeks later, we were back in the top 6. So, be that as it may, this is very, very simple for me. Olu Fashanu would have been the number 1 tackle on the board in 2023. I think he is easily the number 1 tackle in 2024. The Jets desperately need a tackle. Especially if Aaron Rodgers is coming back, you need to invest. I wouldn't be surprised if every Jet pick in 2024 is an offensive lineman. You need to invest heavily in the offensive line. Look at what Joe Tippmann has done already through 3 weeks of play. He has been easily the Jets' best offensive lineman. He is a rookie. You got to get those young guns in there, and you got to let them play. Olu Fashanu is the pick for me here. Now, again, starts to get a little finicky, a little crazy here. New England at number 7. Mac Jones, I don't think, if Bill Belichick continues, I don't think he's confident in Mac Jones coming back for a 4th season as the starting quarterback. Kind of same thing with Bailey Zappi. He's just a really, really good backup. Don't think that he, even though he did win a couple games last year, don't think that he's an NFL starting quarterback, NFL caliber starting quarterback, I should say. I think that they go back and they draft a quarterback if they're picking here at number 7. And for me, that's going to be JJ McCarthy. Now, I have been on record as saying I don't understand the hype for JJ McCarthy even after watching his game film. And I will say one thing, 2 things actually. JJ McCarthy is completely capable of making every NFL throw. He's made some incredible throws into some incredibly tight windows, even this year as well, so far. I know they haven't played the cream of the crop competition, but you're looking at these throws and you're saying, well, if he's fitting it into tight windows against these teams, he could fit them in against anyone. Athleticism off the charts for the quarterback position as well. Also, another thing that's really big for me here, last year he was terrible under pressure. That was really, really exposed in the TCU game. If you guys remember, threw some really bad interceptions under pressure. He had a 44 grade last year under pressure. This year, already we're up to a 65. So he's made a massive improvement. I know it's early on. A lot of these numbers are skewed. A lot of these variables are going to be different at the end of the year. His under pressure grade is up to a 65 so far. Now, that's pretty dang good under pressure up until this point in the season. So if he can continue to trend upward that way and lead this Michigan team to maybe an undefeated record, and he continues to make these NFL level throws, I could see why a lot of NFL scouts are really, really in on him. That's just me. I'm just relaying the info for you, and I feel like he just seems like a Bill Belichick type of pick. Number 8, you have the Cincinnati Bengals. They get blessed with Joe Alt falling into their lap here at number 8. Pretty simple. It's amazing how much draft capital, well, I mean, they haven't really invested too much draft capital in it. The last couple picks I can think of off the top of my head is Jackson Carman and Jonah Williams were the last 2 like higher draft picks for them on the offensive line. It's been a lot of money. Ted Karras, Orlando Brown, guys like that, Alex Kappa as well. They just haven't gotten it right. I think you just got to kind of go back to the drawing board, go get Joe Alt, maybe move Jonah Williams inside, just kind of get a lot of talent and just move forward like that. The offensive line is still pretty bad. No matter how much money they throw at it, Joe Alt has to be the pick here for me. At number 9, you have the Arizona Cardinals. Now this is where Drazon Newton, my favorite defensive player in the entire draft, comes off the board. Arizona is in pretty desperate need of a pass rushing 3-tech. And make no mistake about it, elite pass rushing 3-tech defensive tackles are very, very hard to come by in the NFL. I mean, Fletcher Cox, is one of them that comes to mind. Aaron Donald, Chris Jones, Jalen Carter is going to be one of those guys as well. Maybe Javon Hargrave, those type of guys. And that's really it off the top of my head. I'm sure I'm missing a few guys, but Drazon Newton is going to be, he's also an incredible run defender, extremely stout. Was the best run defender in the Big Ten and like the fourth best run defender graded out in the entire FBS last year. And it's no different this year as well. He's going to be a stud at the next level. Arizona is easily the pick for me here. Number 10, you have the New York Giants. Offensive line is in play for me as well, but I mean, it's just so sad watching Daniel Jones run around that pocket and trying to find a receiver. You go from one sad aspect to the other. It's snap, he's immediately running for pressure, and then he's got no one to throw to. To me, let me be clear, I like Emeka Egbuka, I like Malik Neighbors, I like Xavier Worthy and Romo Dunzak, Troy Franklin even. Keon Coleman is the number 2 wide receiver for me here. Just the combination of size, speed, power, ball skills. I think this would be the perfect number 1 type of wide receiver for Daniel Jones and the New York Giants. Green Bay at number 11. I'm going to go a little bit of a different route. I know their secondary could really use an upgrade. Like every safety is a free agent going into the 2023-24 offseason. I'm going to pass on that for a second because it's kind of a deep safety class, and I don't really know, even though Cooper DeJean is really, really good, I don't know how high he'll go. I do, but anyway, Green Bay needs some offensive line help as well. Amarius Mims is going to be the pick here for me. I think he is the perfect replacement for David Bakhtiari when it's all said and done. Bakhtiari, again, lands himself on IR. He just can't stay healthy. I think it's time to cut ties, move on, and just start with someone that's going to stay healthy and you could groom from a young age. Amarius Mims is the pick here for me at number 11. Number 12, you have the New Orleans Saints. Even though they signed Carl Granderson to a long-term contract extension, they've really, I guess, used valuable resources to, I don't want to say improve the defensive line. They drafted Brian Bresee. Like I said, they re-signed Carl Granderson. They drafted Peyton Turner in the first round, I think 3 years ago as well. They brought in Keely Saunders and, of course, Cam Jordan, but you need something else. Jared Verse is still on the board. This is a no-brainer for me here. You need some kind of incredible pass rusher that, I mean, at number 12, this is a steal, in my opinion. If he's on the board, you run the pick up to the podium. Jared Verse is going to be the pick for me. Arizona picking yet again at number 13, Emeka Egbuka. For me, Michael Wilson is a stud. On pace for easily going over 1,000 yards in his rookie season. That's a really nice big target. Then you have Rondell Moore, who is a nice contrast. And then you need, because I'm not really sure Marquise Hollywood-Brown is going to be coming back. I don't know if he wants to stay in Arizona. He wants to get the heck out of there. Emeka Egbuka is going to be the pick here for me. That would be a really nice super young trio for Kyler Murray or whoever's throwing the football behind the offensive line in Arizona next year. Number 14, LA Chargers, pretty simple here for me. They got a lot of holes, but, at this point, if you see this player, you're taking BPA. Brock Bowers is still on the board. I've said it in prior weeks. I'll say it again. Gerald Everett's cool. Donald Parham is a pretty nice, versatile tight end. They're not Brock Bowers. Brock Bowers is probably, he's going to enter the NFL. This is a crazy statement. He's going to enter the NFL as a top 5 tight end. I'm just going to leave it at that. Houston at number 15 here. Offensive line, I don't think is a need. I think if you wait until the offensive line gets healthy, they have more than enough pieces to have a very formidable offensive line. I'm going to hold off on that. Kind of same deal with the wide receivers. Tank Dell, Nico Collins. I mean, we haven't really seen too much of John Mechie. Robert Woods, Dalton Schultz. This has been a very, very formidable group so far. I'm going to hold off on another wide receiver. I'm going to improve the defensive line. I'm going to make it DeMeco Ryans pick here. I'm going to take Leonard Taylor. I think he fits best in what DeMeco Ryans is trying to do with that front four. And I think he'd be an absolute menace. And that's a really nice combo of young players on the defensive line, Will Anderson Jr., and then you get Leonard Taylor as well. Washington Commanders at pick number 16. Pretty simple here. They're in desperate need of offensive line help. J.C. Latham is here, 6'6", 359 pounds. His weight could be a little bit of an issue. He does fluctuate a lot, though, so it's nice to know that he can get back down into the 330s. It's not like he gets out of control, kind of like a Mekhi Becton, where like if he's not on a regimented diet, his weight gets out of control. It's something out of his control, but it's nice to know that he can fluctuate, basically eat whatever he wants, I guess is what I'm getting at. But J.C. Latham's going to be the pick here for me at 16. 17, the Jacksonville Jaguars. Kalen King is still on the board. I think the Jags could really benefit from another corner. They have Darius Williams. They have Tyson Campbell, who is probably a top 8 cornerback in the NFL right now. That might even be generous. He's probably better than that, to be quite honest with you. I think that they need to add to the secondary. Could look for a pass rusher in this spot too, a defensive lineman, maybe even another wide receiver. But if Kalen King, who's super talented, is still on the board, I think this fills a massive need as well. So I'm going to go Kalen King here at number 17. The Rams at number 18 could use another pass rusher as well. Dallas Turner is still on the board. Laiatu Latu is another pick that I really like. He's gaining a lot of steam as a tremendous player in this draft class. Chop Robinson as well. I'm not totally on the Chop Robinson train yet. If you guys are waiting for that pick, you might as well turn this off. He's not picked in the first round here, but he's getting close. He had a really, really nice showing this past week. I could be leaning towards maybe next week putting him in the first round again, but Dallas Turner is going to be the pick here for me. Just a really nice outside linebacker archetype type of body. Like, it reminds me a lot of Will Anderson, except maybe a tad worse because Will Anderson was so good. But Dallas Turner, when he's on, he is all over your TV screen. The game against Ole Miss was 2 weeks ago was amazing. He was all over my TV screen, and I wasn't too much on the Dallas Turner train. And then I watched him and I was like, Jesus Christ, he's everywhere on the field. I have to pay attention. He was an absolute wrecking ball. And if that's what we can get out of Dallas Turner, he's going to be a fine NFL player. Number 19, the Atlanta Falcons. We're going quarterback yet again, and it's going to be Bo Nix. I think Bo Nix would be if Michael Penix. I think Michael Penix Jr. is the ideal quarterback for Atlanta and the system that Arthur Smith is trying to run. But I think Bo Nix is the next best thing. I think he's a tremendous athlete who can take care of the football, who can game manage, but can be better than a game manager. He can win a football game on his right shoulder. I think that would be anything is better than Desmond Ridder at this point. I think it's only a matter of time before we see Taylor Heineke. Moving on to number 20, you have the Indianapolis Colts. I'm going wide receiver here. I know offensive line is in play here. I'm not totally in love with the fits of the offensive linemen that are left in the first round right now. I think you go out and you get an absolute weapon to pair with Michael Pittman Jr. and Josh Downs, and that's Rome Odunze. I think that would be like, because you got Josh Downs, who's that slot guy, that finicky, twitchy typical slot receiver. You have Michael Pittman, who is the go up and get it possession receiver. And then you have Rome Odunze, who's like a really nice combination of both, with the speed, with the ability to go up and get it down the field as well. I think that would be a really nice trio for Anthony Richardson to throw to for years to come. Pittsburgh at number 21. And I'm not going to lie to you, I really, really was thinking about taking a quarterback here. Riley Leonard seems, Quinn Ewers and Riley Leonard kind of spoke out to me. Even Spencer Rattler was piquing my interest. Cam Ward as well. Can't forget about Cam Ward. He is awesome in his own right. Not a lot of glaring needs for this Pittsburgh team, to be honest with you. All of their important offensive linemen are under contract through next year. I think they like the unit that they have. Regardless of how good or how bad it is, they like their unit that they have as of right now. Same deal with the defensive line. Besides for Montavious Adams, I'm sorry if I'm saying his name wrong off the top of my head. He is a free agent. Other than that, they have Keanu Benton backing him up already, so I think they're good there. Linebacker, everyone is signed for the most part. Corner, secondary is a position that I really think could use a massive upgrade. Joey Porter Jr. is grading out fantastically so far this year. He was an excellent pick in the first pick of the second round, which was really still the first round. But Nate Wiggins is a player that I like, and I think he fits Pittsburgh's style of play very, very well. A little bit slender for the position, nice size, 6'2 or 6'3. He's in that like 180 territory. Would like to see him get up to 185, maybe closer to 190. This is a player that I've had my eye on for a couple weeks. Was kind of hovering around the back end of the first round, but I think he is would be a game changer for the Pittsburgh Steelers, and that would be a beautiful partnership between Nate Wiggins and Joey Porter Jr. And you had Patrick Peterson there next year to kind of mentor both of these guys as well. I don't know if I could think of a better mentor in the NFL right now than Pat Pete. So Nate Wiggins is the pick here for me. At 22, Tennessee, pretty simple. Offensive line here. Got to go Cooper Beebe. Reason why I like Cooper Beebe so much, maybe more than other draft guys that you watch, is just the polish and the versatility. He's played multiple years at multiple positions, right guard, right tackle. That is so line versatility. I can't tell you how many times I said this in last year's mock drafts. I will say it again 100 million times this year. So if you like these videos and you're going to keep watching, you're going to hear me say this so many times. Line versatility is so key for me. You could put kind of like what Peter Skoronski. He was not the sexy pick last year, but Skoronski is arguably Tennessee's best offensive lineman right now. And I think BB, with the size, 6'4", 335 pounds, can play tackle, could easily play guard as well. I think you can't pass up that versatility here at 22. Seattle at number 23. Don't let the Giant game fool you. Their defensive line still needs a lot of help. Jaron Reed is a player that they brought back this year as like a kind of like a one-year flyer deal, and he's turned out to be their best interior defensive lineman so far. And that's not a knock on Jaron Reed, but you need to upgrade the position if Jaron Reed is making that much of a stink on your defensive line. I've grown to really like Chris Jenkins here from Michigan. 6'4", 305 pounds, but he's got amazing strength and athleticism. I don't know what it is about these big defensive linemen from Michigan, but the last few years they have just come out with versatility, athleticism, speed, size, strength. They're incredible. You think of Mozzie Smith last year. You think 2 years ago, David Ojabo. You think of Aiden Hutchinson as well. I don't know what they're doing over there, but whatever it is, it's working. I think this would be a perfect fit for Seattle. 24, you have Dallas. Cooper DeJean is going to be the player that I take here. Safety, could also play slot cornerback as well, is a return man. I know they have Kevon Turpin, who was an all-pro return man. DeJean is a Swiss Army knife that the Dallas Cowboys really need in the secondary. Really, besides for the secondary, I couldn't really find any glaring needs on this team. When healthy, they are super good, super deep as well. But DeJean is a player that you kind of plug in anywhere you want. He could play in the slot. He could probably even play outside with the size. He could play safety. Like I said, he's a return man as well. He's a do-it-all type of guy that it seems like Jerry Jones and company would absolutely love. At number 25 here, I'm going to go back to this like I did last week. I think this might be one of my only same picks. Donovan Jackson's going to be the pick for me here. Just kind of Detroit, again, just like Dallas, just like Pittsburgh, is a team that doesn't really have any like massive glaring needs. But the offensive line, Vaitai is going to be a free agent. Jonah Jackson's going to be a free agent. They're not going to bring back both of those guys, I'm pretty sure. I think you keep Jonah Jackson and you flip another Jackson to the other side of the offensive line. Donovan Jackson's the most athletic interior offensive lineman in this entire class. Zach Frazier is another one. Christian Haynes, the guys later in the draft as well. But Jackson, you're not going to get that type of size and athleticism combination from the guard position in this draft anywhere else. Miami at pick number 26. I think it's pretty clear from the pressure that Tua has faced so far this year. They're going to need some offensive tackle upgrades. Kingsley Suamatia is here. That's pretty simple. It's the pick for me. Tampa Bay at number 27. Laiatu Latu is going to be the pick here for me. Outside linebacker, 6'5", 265 pounds, a 20.3% pass rush win rate so far in his collegiate career at UCLA. That is preposterous considering that has been sustained for a long period of time. This guy is going to be a game wrecker at the next level. And to be honest with you, this might be the last week where he's in the back end of the first half for me. First half of the first round. His game tape is sensational. His highlight package is amazing as well. This guy is just a brute force on any defensive line or any 3-4 to play outside linebacker. He's going to be tremendous at the next level. Buffalo at pick number 28 here. Again, edge, defensive line in general is a sneaky need for me. I really think besides for Jared Verse, there's not a better 4-3 defensive end in the entire class than Braylon Trice. 6'4", 275 pounds, has that speed, has that size advantage as well, the length, the bend off the edge as well, would be a really nice pairing with Greg Rousseau, AJ Epinenza as well. But you got, Von Miller, who's aging and is always hurt at this point, even though he's still effective in pure pass rush situations. Last year, I believe he had 8 sacks already before he went out for the season. Guys like that, but their defensive line is a sneaky need. I keep flip-flopping between wide receiver and defensive line, but in this one, it's going to be defensive line for sure. Braylon Trice is the pick here. Pick number 29, the Baltimore Ravens. I'm going to go back to Denzel. Okay, this is the same pick as last week. I'm going to go back to Denzel Burke here. For me, they shut down the Browns completely this past week, but backup quarterback playing. Deshaun Watson wasn't in. I think Denzel Burke is someone who I wasn't too high on. I was high on at the beginning of the draft process. Then I kind of went into a valley. Now I'm at a peak again where he's really, really shown on tape and in game film that he has bullied his way back into the top 3 or 4 consideration for the cornerback class. It's not a strong cornerback class. Let's get that straight right away. He'd probably be a 2nd or 3rd rounder from last year's class or the year before that. But in this class, he has enough talent, he has enough skill and enough production to be in the 1st round. I think Baltimore would pair him with Marlon Humphrey very, very nicely. They've been searching for that 2nd cornerback for a while now. San Francisco 49ers at pick number 30. I'm going to go with a new offensive tackle here. It's going to continue to be offensive tackle. Patrick Paul out of Houston. 90 PFF grade last year overall from the tackle position. That's really, really good. They play okay competition. Let's see if he could do it again. And so far this year, through 4 games, he's had a 91 overall grade. This guy is sensational. If you don't really know him, get to know the name Patrick Paul. He's probably going to be a very, very high draft pick. Does come with some concerns, of course, but so does every other prospect. But he is an absolute mauler at the tackle position. KC at pick number 31. I know this is a little late for this player. And how is he still here? It's going to be Malik Neighbors for me. Pretty simple. Best wide receiver on the board. Super shifty. Incredible in open space. And if there's a quarterback that could extend the play to get a wide receiver into open space, it is Patrick Mahomes. That just seems like a chef's kiss match made in heaven right there. And then pick number 32, the final pick in the 1st round. You have the Philadelphia Eagles. I'm going to go with a safety. I know. After this season, we're probably going to start looking for right tackle replacements in the long run for Lane Johnson. What about Jason Kelsey? We need, after they lost Isaac Seumalo, they moved Cam Jurgens over, and then you have Landon Dickerson. Those are your 2 guards. What are you going to do at the center position? I know. Same thing, defensive line. What are you going to do? Brandon Graham and Josh Sweat, these guys are free agents. How are you going to, replace them? There are players in place as of right now. I'm not super, super worried about it yet, but Cameron Kinchens is a guy that is just perfect for the Philadelphia Eagles. Super versatile, kind of. I really like what they've done with Reed Blankenship. Blankenship was someone that came into the NFL that I thought was going to be maybe like a hybrid linebacker, maybe a Buffalo nickel type of player because of his size at 6'4", 225 pounds. I was like, he could easily play linebacker. Kinchens is the same type of player, just a little bit smaller. 6'2", 210 pounds, offers some really, really nice, 6'1", 210 pounds, offers some really, really nice size, some pop, and he's a great ball hawk. 6 interceptions last year. He's been incredible ever since last year. I think this would be a really, really great pick for the Philadelphia Eagles. And just like that, ladies and gentlemen, there you have it. There is my full 1st round 2024 mock draft after week 4 of the 2023 NFL season. That was a mouthful. I do not want to say that again. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. Please leave a like, please leave a comment, and please subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Like I said, I'm trying to hit 10,000 subscribers before the 2024 NFL draft. And with your help, that's certainly possible. Thank you guys so much for watching today. I hope you enjoyed, and I hope I see you in the next one.